Hello, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode, episode number 249 for January the 23rd, 24. Hope you had a good weekend. And I do believe last Monday was a long weekend. I think it was Martin Luther King Day in the States. So I hope you had a nice long holiday. Okay, let me clear my throat and get on with this. So, current projects. Well, this one isn't so current now. I have finished it up and you have seen it, but I'm showing it to you again because I made a pattern for this. This is my own original design. It's not a really complicated pattern because it's primarily made up of half square triangles. And I call it, and if you remember, we had a little, I asked you for name suggestions and I got a lot. And I went through those on Stephen and Walter Live and on So Chatty last week. And I didn't pick any of them. But what the beauty was of all your suggestions, and you focused on the points and the stars and things like that, is that you gave me an idea. I've got a frog in my throat. Excuse me for just a sec. Okay, sorry about that. So as I was saying, I used your ideas to give me an idea of what to call this quilt, and I have named it When Stars Collide. And as I said, I have written a pattern for this, and that pattern is going to be available first to those of you that register for the 10,000 bash. More about that in a moment. And then I'm going to open it up and let anybody who would like to have a copy of it get a copy of it. It will be a PDF file, and I will give you a link for where you can download it. That's not going to happen until after February the 10th, because February the 10th is the date of the 10,000 bash. Again, more about that shortly. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. You can see the quilting. I just did some simple swirls. Well, when I say I did the simple swirls, I mean Lucy did the simple swirls, my long arm, and my quilt path. Maybe I should give the quilt path a name too. Maybe it should be Lucy and Ricky. Hey, there's an idea. Maybe when I think everybody's used to the fact that I call my long arm Lucy, because that's the name she came with. She's an APQS machine, and APQS labels their machines with names, and mine is the Lucy. But maybe I should call the quilt path, the computerized computer program for Lucy, Ricky. Yeah, I think I will. It'll now be known as Lucy and Ricky. Okay, so how did I get onto that? I don't know. Did I have any problems? No, Lucy cooperated very nicely, except for some reason I didn't get this quilt on the frame straight. I thought it was. And over on one of the edges, my edge-to-edge design was not going all the way to the edge. Now, of course, I always put borders on my quilts, knowing that I'm going to trim some of the border off. So not a problem, although I had to trim a little bit more off of the yellow border, the outside border, than I was planning to. But I think it's okay. It looks fine. So, if I hadn't told you that, you wouldn't have known. But, you know me, I'm an idiot, and I always tell you about the idiot things. But anyways, I'm really happy with this quilt. I'm contemplating making another one, but I don't know if I will or not. I have never made two quilts of this from the same pattern. My voice is going again. I don't know why. And sorry about that. But anyways, yeah, so that's going to be a pattern very soon that you'll be able to download and do if you wish. Am I going to do as a sew along? I am not. I am not. Really don't need a sew along for something like this, because you can do it with your scraps, you can do it with charm packs, you can do it with yardage, whatever you want. And it's, like I said, the majority of this quilt is made up of just half square triangles. So I think most people know how to make a half square triangle. And if you don't, I actually put it in the pattern how to do them as well, and you can find YouTube videos about that. Okay, moving on. This is the quilt that I based around the center portion, which was foundation paper piecing that Shannon of Slay Arts did with us at the virtual retreat. She and Stephanie hosted back, was it a week ago, this past weekend, I think, and it was just too pretty not to do something more with it. So I built a quilt around it. There is not a pattern for this quilt. There may be a pattern coming out for the center section, but that would be on Shannon's channel on Slay Arts. And if you haven't been to Slay Arts, you need to go and you need to subscribe to her. She's trying to go for 1,000. And while I'm mentioning that, also go to my friend Russ's channel, Quilt Meets World. He's trying to get to 1,000 subscribers too. So please go and support both of these very fine YouTube creators. But back to the quilt. So I improv'd it. And what I mean by improv, what I call improv, basically, I just started building a quilt around the center feature. And this is what it came up with. You'll notice my borders are a little bit different, a little unusual, and that's okay. That's on purpose. And there is a sense of symmetry here if you really study it, but not completely either. So what did I call this quilt? Well, it hasn't been quilted yet. I'll show it to you when it is quilted. I'm calling it Shannon's Way, and that's a play on Shannon's first and last name, Shannon Way, and also the idea that basically this quilt was inspired by her foundation paper piecing design in the center. So this quilt from here on and in all time will be known as Shannon's Way. And speaking of quilts that are going to be named after people, at that same virtual retreat, we did this block. And this is from Stephanie Stitches. And Stephanie's a good friend as well, as you know. And I love her designs. I love her patterns. Easy to follow. If you've never done one, go to her Etsy store, buy one of her patterns, and check it out. Also support her YouTube channel because she, unlike Shannon, Russ, and myself, we are not worthy, is almost at 20,000 subscribers. And we are going to have a little fun when we hit that, when she hits that. I say we because, you know, she's my friend and I'm rooting for her. And yeah, that is quite an accomplishment. 20,000 subscribers. It's coming. It's coming very soon. So we're going to have a celebration with that. But again, I digress. Back to her block. I love this block because it looks complicated, but it isn't. It's really simple to put together. I love putting the first couple of blocks together, and she just had it as a small wall hanging that I decided to make a whole quilt. Now, since I took this picture, I have all of the blocks. I have 16 blocks. They're in blues, yellows, greens, reds, as you see here. And down the center of the quilt, diagonally, I have put something that looks kind of on, for you on the screen, black. But it's really a dark, dark blue with a lot of the colors that are in the other blocks are in the little, I don't know what you call it, in the print, I guess, of the fabric that's in those darker stars. And as I said, I have all of the blocks made. Now I'm thinking of how I'm going to do some sashing. I did think of not doing any sashing because you can see there's like a little fore patch when those blocks come together. But now I'm thinking, no, I might add a sashing to it as well. And I have some ideas for that. And then, of course, the borders. And it's going to be a large quilt. It's going to measure, let's see. Well, each of those blocks is 18 inches. 4 blocks, that's 64, right? 16, no, wait, I said 18. 18, 18 is 36, 72. 72 inches across by 72 inches down before sashing. Once I get the sashing into that and the borders, it's going to be about 90 by 90, I think. That's a fairly large quilt. And I have to be careful that I don't go over that 90 by much because I won't be able to get it on my long arm. And of course, I don't say that too loudly because Walter would have said to me then, well, you should have got the 12-foot frame, not the 10-foot. He bugs me about that all the time, about my Lucy. Anyways, this one, I'm going to name after Stephanie as well, in honor of when she gets to 20,000. I haven't decided on the name yet, but I am. I'm going to name it after Stephanie. Because after all, it is Stephanie's block design. I just took her blocks and rearranged them. But more about that when I get it done. Okay, so that's what I've been working on. I have some other projects in the background, in the back of my head that need to get started on as well. I've got another quilt I'm really dying to make. That's the problem with this, isn't it? with the quilting. You have great plans, especially, we're moving through January now, so I think a lot of us probably sat down, planned out the kind of things we want to do over the next year. I know I did, and I'll never get all those done because why? Because other designs come along and I go, ooh, got to do that. Look, squirrel. Yeah. So, yeah, I have that. I have a thing on my embroidery machine that I want to give as a gift later on in a couple of months' time. So I got to get to work on that as well. I need assistance. I keep saying that. I need assistance. Okay. So what's been happening? Well, and what's coming up? Well, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, our weekly gathering, Wednesdays, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, running till 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Join Stephanie and myself for, fun, socializing, sewing, working on our projects, and who knows what else. Always something different, always something fun and enticing. It's a no judgment zone, no drama zone. We just support each other, show off what we're making, and get some things done. It's just a fun, fun day. So as I said, that's every Wednesday. Link for it is in my show notes below. Please do me a favor. Sometimes there's more than one link to a Zoom in my show notes. Read them carefully, okay? In the very first line of the little Zoom paragraph, it will tell you what that one is for, okay? The reason I say that is because I've had people get really confused. They click on, like, say, a pop-up sew day one that might be in there at the time, too, and I see it come up in my email that someone's tried to get into pop-up sew day when it's not a pop-up sew day, when they really meant like to get into the other one, into Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. So please take a moment when you're going through the show notes just to read the title. It's there. It's very clear. Here's the title and the date and the link. Okay, moving on. Speaking of pop-up sew day, we did have one this past Saturday. Great turnout. 45 people at the height of it. That's a lot. That's about half of what I can usually handle in a Zoom. We usually average anywhere between about 20 in the high 20s to low 30s, but this time, wow. And that's fun. It was great. Again, pop-up sew days, you never know when they're going to happen, because they're kind of a regular thing, because I try to do at least one every month. Sometimes it's more than that. They're always on a Saturday because I want to accommodate those of you that still work, poor suckers. And but I usually make the announcement at the first of the week just before the pop-up sew day. So I'm not sure when the next one's going to be. This is a busy month coming up in February. So, and we're pretty much to the end of January. So, yeah. But they're lots of fun. All are welcome. If you would like advance notice of it via your email, please click on the what is it called? Tab? No, it's in the show notes, okay? There's a thing that says how to contact me, and it shows you where to click. And you click and a little box comes up. This is different from what way YouTube used to do it. It's an about box. It comes up, and look at it closely. You will not immediately see my email address, but you will see, it'll say email address, but you need to click to, I think there's a little button that says view. You click on that, and it asks you if you're a robot. And you just check off the box and say no, and then presto, like magic, my email address will appear. And make sure you copy it, or at least write it down correctly, because a few people have sent me notes saying that they can't, try to send me an email and they can't. Well, one of the reasons for that might be that you have misspelled my name. My name is not hard, Stephen Bland, but in my email address, it is my name, all lowercase, but make sure you don't call me Steve Bland. It's Stephen with an N, Steven, Bland, all one word, all lowercase, at simpatico.ca. There, I just gave it to you, okay? The reason I don't publish it in the show notes, I used to do that for a long time, is unfortunately we have trolls on the internet, and they enjoy sending you everything from trying to sell you a product to scam email. So that's why it's there. And the way they get those email addresses is usually by a bot. It's not a human being that's mining this information. So that's why if you go into the About section and it's asking you if you're a robot, well, the robot for some reason can't check off the box. Which is surprising that they haven't figured that one out yet, because they figure out everything else, these hackers. They'd only put their talents to good use, like finding a cure for cancer and solving world hunger. Yeah. Because, say what you like about hackers, about these scam artists, they're not stupid people. And they're just evil. They're just plain evil. Okay, so what else? Well, something exciting. A couple of weeks ago, I was contacted by a person from the CQA. CQA is the Canadian Quilters Association, which I am a member of. And they put out a newsletter every week and a magazine every quarter. And they have seminars and things like that. Well, they also, in their newsletter, I think once a month, have a puzzle, an electronic puzzle. And the puzzle is based upon a quilt that a member has submitted to them, which is kind of fun. Well, they were looking for pictures of quilts. So on a whim, I sent them a picture of one of my scrappy quilts, and I forgot all about it. Well, I got contacted. They want to use it as my puzzle and wanted a permission for it. And I said, sure, go for it. So one of my scrappy quilts from one I did a couple of years ago is now a puzzle. And I'm going to give you the, I'm going to show you a little video clip of what I'm talking about right here. A couple of weeks ago, I was approached by a lady from the Canadian Quilters Association, which I'm a member of, asking me if I would permit them to use one of my quilt pictures that I had submitted to become a puzzle. Now, every month they like to do a little fun jigsaw puzzle where they take a quilt design and make it into an electronic puzzle. So they asked me if I would do that. I said yes. And so if you look down here, and I'm just scrolling through the newsletter that came out yesterday, you will see that I have been marked as a puzzle. There's my quilt, and it has my name here as well by it. And if you want to start the puzzle, you click here. And there's the puzzle. And now you can put it all together in pieces. This would be somewhat of a challenging puzzle because this was a scrappy quilt. But yeah, I was really kind of flattered that they wanted to do that with one of my quilt designs. It's not a big thing, but it kind of makes me happy. And so I thought I'd share it with you. And if you're interested in trying to solve the puzzle, you can go to the link I have put in the show notes below for it. Have fun. It's not an easy puzzle because the quilt's scrappy. Okay, what other things can I talk about? Well, of course, the big exciting news is that I hit 10,000 subscribers, and I'm still growing, and thank you so much to everybody out there who is supporting me. It means a lot to me, and it also gives me the incentive to continue adding content to my channel for you. So, in fact, I have some new content I'm going to talk about that's coming up shortly. But in the meantime, I'm having a celebration of having over 10,000. It's called the 10,000 Bash. You've probably already heard me talk about it because that's all I've been talking about lately. But I did put up a video, and the link for it is in the show notes, and for an explanation of what's going to happen with the 10,000 Bash, as I call it. In a nutshell, you need to register for it. Registration opens at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, February the 1st. No sooner than that. It involves sending me an email with your full name, first and last, and the email address you wish to be contacted at. I will send you back an email saying, yes, you are in. And at the same time, I will send you the link to the pattern for When Stars Collide. This is the bash itself is work on whatever you would like to work on, like a pop-up sew day. However, it is not a sew along for that quilt pattern, but if you wish to work on that quilt pattern, and if you have any questions about the pattern, you have to remember it's my very first pattern, so there may be problems with it. Then I'll be here to help you out. But it's not a sew along, so don't feel that coming to the bash you have to work on that quilt pattern. You do not. And there's going to be prizes, several prizes. But anyways, I explain all of that in detail in that video, so please watch the video. It's important. There's a lot of information in there for you, and the information that's in that video is also in the show notes for that video that you can copy and paste into a word processor or whatever your choice of note-taking is on your computer, and then you'll have all of the details at your fingertips for the 10,000 bash. And as I said, the 10,000 bash will be on Saturday, February the 10th, starting at 8 a.m. in the morning and running until about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And but you have to pre-register for it. Pre-register or register? I think it's just register. You have to register for it, and registration opens on February the 1st. And that's going to be hell day for me, because I have a feeling it's going to fill up that day within hours of it. So, yeah. And am I going to have a waiting list if you don't get in? No, but I'm doing something a little different to help accommodate in some way for people who missed the boat, so to speak. So that's all explained in that video. Okay, so speaking of videos and content, well, I'm hoping that come this Friday, the episode of So Chatty will include our first in a series about machine embroidery. I have worked on some things for different sessions. We're going to take you right from the bare beginnings to like getting your machine, getting files, stabilizers, threads, what you need to know about an embroidery machine, that kind of thing. And over the weeks, we're going to work our way up to showing you how to do various types of projects. And at the culmination of the series, I am thinking that I might have a machine embroidery sew day at some point in time as well. Now, Walter's working on this with me as well, and therein lies the rub. Okay, Walter and I have different schedules. I'm a morning person. He's an afternoon person. I'm very productive in the morning, but like I start my production at about 6 in the morning. Okay, might explain why about 2 in the afternoon I want a nap. Meanwhile, Walter is only productive in the afternoon, and actually I think he's most productive sometime after 9 o'clock at night, at the point when I've gone to bed. So he's working away in the wee hours. So yeah, we're very different like that. So since we're both working on this project together, I need to find a happy compromise to have us both in the same space working on this. That's where the problem lies. But we'll get over it. We'll make it work. Okay, so hopefully the very first session of Machine Embroidery 101 series will be on So Chatty this coming Friday. Okay, and then I got a surprise in my email the other day on Sunday. I got notified that I had been given a gift certificate from Amazon. Wow. That floored me. And the person who sent it, I don't know if this person wants me to say her name or not, so I'm not going to. But she is a regular subscriber. Actually, she is somebody that I actually have met in person before, met in Halifax when we were at the Canadian Quilt show. Yeah, I call her a friend as well. And yeah, out of the blue, to celebrate getting 10,000 subscribers, she sent me an electronic Amazon gift certificate. Really, really, that was a really nice surprise and such a generous gift. I don't do what I do expecting anything in return, except, maybe a nice comment every now and then. I know there are other creators on there that get what they call happy mail and things like that and show it all. I don't ask for that. I don't expect that. And to be honest, it embarrasses me if somebody does something nice for me. I've had a few other people in the past do some nice things like that for me too. It embarrasses me because I'm the kind of person, if someone gives me a gift, I feel I need to give them a gift back for giving me the gift, you know? And I'm sure a lot of people are that way. But anyways, it was a very, very nice surprise. And yes, I will not waste that gift certificate for sure. I'll be using it. So thank you so much for that. And you know who you are. Love you. Okay, so that takes me to yeah, I have a little video here about a book I acquired recently. This was a suggestion from one of my subscribers. It's a series of books actually put out by a quilter named Carol Thelen. I think that's how you say her name, Thelen. I had never heard of this person before, but apparently she is a guru in the quilting world, and she and I, she and I and he, she and he, me, whatever. We share a common interest in using Accuquilt, and the person who sent me this information knows how much I'm into Accuquilt, and that's what these books are all about. They're basically books of blocks that you can make with your Accuquilt dies. Plus, I did order the book. Amazon has them, and I got it. And well, why am I telling you everything that I put into a little video clip? I'm going to show that to you right now. A subscriber recommended to me this book. Actually, it's a series of books, and it's called Quilt Block of the Day 2023, January through March, and it's by Carol Thelen. I think that's how you say her name, Thelen. Now, the reason this was recommended to me is because apparently this book shows you how to make over 90 quilt blocks using your Accuquilt die system. Plus, if you don't have that, how to make them in the more traditional way. So I thought I'd take a chance and try it out. Let me see if I can blow it up here. So you see, it shows on the cover all these various blocks and with instructions for over 15 quilts. So I thought this might be a good investment. So I did buy it, and I have leafed through it, and I have marked pages of some of the blocks and quilts related to those blocks that I might like to make down the road. But what I liked about it is it's really showing you practical use of your Accuquilt machine and all the dies that you have. So if this works out pretty well, as I said, this is the first of a series of books for the whole year of 2023. It looks like she's put out one for every quarter of the year. So this is January through to March. Then the next one will be April through to June. Oh no, 3 months. What's that? April, May, June, July, and etc. through that. They're not terribly expensive, but not terribly inexpensive either, as you can see over on the side. $33.46 plus there was tax on that. That's in Canadian dollars. It is available on the American Amazon site as well for around $25 American, I think. So anyways, look forward to some reviews of some of the things that I do from this book this year to see whether or not I'm getting my money's worth. So stay tuned. As we go through this year, I'm going to be doing some of the blocks at least, maybe some of the quilts too, from that particular book. Depending on how it goes, I may even buy some of the other ones as well. Okay, that takes me to Subscribers Quilt of the Week, and this one comes from one of my subscribers, Ellen Holshabach. I believe we have seen some of her quilts before on here, and here is another one. This week's quilt from a subscriber comes from Ellen Holshabach, and Ellen writes this about her beautiful creation. I made this quilt for a student of mine. I fancy cut the teddy bears and inserted them into a square using Donna Jordan's panel technique. trimmed them to a specific size, and made pinwheel blocks to match. I stippled the entire quilt. Well, this is a great quilt for a kid. I'm assuming she says it's for a student of hers. So I'm not sure if this is someone that she's taught or has looked after or whatever, but it looks like it's probably going to a young person with the teddy bears and the alphabet border, but it is really, really cute. And I love the quilting that's in it. It's dense enough that little fingers can't get caught in it, but it gives a lot of great warm texture to the quilt as well. So Ellen, this is a great quilt. I am sure the recipient of this is going to really appreciate it. Thanks so much for sharing a picture of it with us. So the YouTube of the week is a review of a very interesting little, and I mean little, sewing machine called the VEVOR. And this is a review by Timothy Totten. Timothy Totten is a sewer. I have subscribed to his channel before. I don't watch a lot of his videos because they're not really focused on quilting, although he does do quilts too. It's focused on all kinds of different sewing. But this particular video that he put up recently really caught my attention. This week's YouTube channel clip comes from someone that I reviewed some time ago called Timothy Totten. He is a male sewer. He does not necessarily just do quilting. He does a whole lot of other interesting things as well. But in this particular video, he is reviewing a very tiny and inexpensive sewing machine called the VEVOR. And the thing about this is, that intrigued me, is that this particular sewing machine, although extremely inexpensive and made of plastic, actually does quite a bit. And I'm thinking this might be a great little starter machine for a kid, for someone who, might show an interest in sewing, but at their age, you don't want to invest a lot of money into them to get them started. He does mention some of the drawbacks of this machine. It doesn't have a lot of features that, of course, major sewing machines do. But on the other hand, there are some features that are very, very surprising about something that's this inexpensive. So you might want to check out, if you're looking for a really, really inexpensive sewing machine, you might want to check out review VEVOR sewing machine, a tiny portable machine that is actually powerful, by Timothy Totten. So that takes me to future projects, and this is one by Vella Rose Designs. It's called Bow Tie, and Vella Rose Designs have all of their patterns on little tiny cards, like recipe cards, kind of a thing. They're all very straightforward, very simple, but they're kind of fun to do. At least I've heard they have been, because I've never done one. But this one kind of caught my attention, so here it is. This week's future project is a very simple one that comes on a very convenient little card with all the instructions on the back of it. And I'm sure you're familiar with Villa Rosa Designs, because this is how most of their patterns are produced. And this one is called Bow Tie, and here is a picture of it. It's a very inexpensive pattern, only $2 American, so you can't go wrong there. And it looks like it's a very, very simple design. Now, I don't particularly care for the color combination that is used with this. And at first when I looked at it, I didn't see very clearly the actual bow ties. But if you look at it, you can see in the center of the squares, there is a bow tie block or piece. I think this might look better if the bow ties were all done in one color. I think they would stand out more on this particular quilt design. But that's just me. So if you're interested in something like this, it's a very inexpensive pattern, as I said, and it looks like it goes together very, very quickly. And in fact, I'm looking at the instructions, and you can do it with 7 fat quarters or 7 fat sixths or 56 5-inch squares. And you have 2.5 yards of background as well. So this might be a great scrap buster as well. So that's Bow Tie by Villa Rosa Designs. So last week I told you that I had put doing interviews on hold. Well, I lied. I came across a gentleman, a quilter, that caught my attention on YouTube. And so I reached out to him and for an interview, and he has agreed to do an interview, and I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm not going to tell you who it is right now, just in case something goes wrong with the interview. But if all goes well, I'm interviewing him this coming Friday, and I should have a interview up next Tuesday for you with this person. So watch for it, and I'll say more about it on next week's Idiot Quilter. Okay, that takes me to online quilt stores. This one is called Kindred Spirits Quilt Company, and it's here in Ontario. This week's online quilt store is called Kindred Spirits Quilt Company, and this is located in the St. Catharines area of Ontario. And it is a store that is not only online, but it is also a brick and mortar store as well. Now, I have never been to this store physically, and this is my first look at it online. So let's see what their website is all about. So we have on the front page, looks like they're an Accuquilt seller as well. Ooh, good sale, 50% off. I should check that out. Although I am faithful to my supplier, Kawartha Quilting, and they're also closer for that matter. So, okay, so that's some basic information we have there. It tells you where they're located, shows you their categories. They do sell baby lock and handy quilter machines as well. And they have gift cards. Yeah, so it's a very clean looking front page. I like that. Let's go to shop. And let's bounce right into fabric. They have new arrivals, basics by colors, batiks, Christmas, collections, cork, flannel, etc. Everything nicely in alphabetical order here. Plus on the left-hand side, they have one of those indexes that I really like, which not only lists the basic categories, but tells you how many fabrics are actually in the category as well. So let's pick out something to take a look at. Let's go to, let's see, brand. They have brand. Let's go to Northcott because they're a Canadian company and I like Northcott. And it's looking like their price is $18.95 a meter. And that is good. That's on the lower end of the scale right now for fabric buying. So that impresses me. And they actually have a fair amount to choose from. Let's see, how many did they say is in the category? 115. So that's pretty good. And let's just double check to make sure that it is $18.95 a meter. It is by a meter, not by a yard. So far, so good. I am impressed. We'll check out shipping in a minute, but let's do some more shopping and take a look at, say, their pre-cuts. They only have one. Okay. And that's vitamin C strip pack, which actually is very pretty. $61.95. It's a strip pack. 42.5-inch. So it's a jelly roll essentially, but they call it a strip pack. Price isn't bad. $61.95. Yeah, that's pretty good price. Not the best price, but a pretty good price for that. Okay. What else do we have? Let's take a look at patterns. They have bag patterns, children's patterns, home decor patterns, quilt patterns. So let's check those out. And anything here grabbing me? Well, actually, how many do they have? They have 148 patterns to choose from, so that's quite a bit. So I'm sure there's something here that will grab your attention. Yeah, it's a good selection. Average price for, actually, their price for their patterns, yeah, it's about what you'd expect to pay for a pattern. Okay, let's take a look. Now they have a clearance section. I always like to check out clearance. Sale fabrics and kits. And yeah, a few things. How many things do they have in this category? 225. They got a lot of stuff on sale. And that includes some kits too. So yeah, there might be something. Let's just pick a random page. Okay. Actually, there's some things in here that kind of attract my attention. Yeah. Okay. Let's continue looking at what's shop. Machine accessories clearance. Let's see. Books, patterns, notions. I'm sure the notions are pretty much your standard bag hardware batting. Let's check out their batting, see what they're charging for that. $39.95 for Hobbs wool batting. Now, is that, yeah, that's per meter. Um, Not a terrible price. Wool batting does tend to be expensive. What about the usual kind of thing? They have Battleizer. Um, they have Hobbs poly-down batting, king size, wrap and zap. So do they sell batting? Yes, they do sell batting by the meter. 80/20, Hobbs 80/20. That's 96 inches. I usually buy 120, but let's just check out 16.95 a meter. Oh, that's not unreasonable. Actually, that's a fairly good price for a batting. Okay, so I have to take a look at their Accuquilt selection and see what they've got. They have cutters, the dies, the cubes. Overstock sale. Okay, what do they have in overstock? Different dies here. Okay, good selection. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, depending on what their shipping is like, I'm kind of impressed by what they have just on sale alone. Let's look at their regular prices, cutters. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, the prices on their cutters are about what I would pay at Kawartha Quilting. Now, you see, I don't think the dealers have much of a say as to what they can put on sale unless Accuquilt tells them what they can put on sale and they tell them how much. So, yeah, um, I'm not getting a better deal than I would get at Kawartha Quilting. And of course, I don't have to pay for shipping with Kawartha Quilting because I just go and pick it up. Whereas this one, I'd probably have to have it shipped. So I don't think I'm going to be ordering anything in Accuquilt from them. Um, let's take a look at sewing machines. They have Baby Lock, Handy Quilter repair services, and other services. So Baby Lock is not something we see a lot of in our area. So there they are, and I'm sure that their machines, I have no idea what to compare their prices to. I would say this is probably what you'd expect to pay, though, for a Baby Lock machine, and they seem to have a good selection of them as well. Let's check out classes and events. Events. Hands-on long arm training. Okay. Let's look at their calendar and see what's coming up. Tuesday evening class, so class bundle, open sewing class. Whirls and Bows block of the month. Crossbody bag, chats with Jane, Monday morning class, view calendar. And there they have everything nicely laid out for you for the month. So they seem to have, they must be all in-person classes by the look of it. There's lots of opportunity to come and sew or to learn something as well. Okay, let's check out if we can find anything about shipping. Maybe at the bottom of their page. Contact shipping info. Okay, let's see what that takes us. There's their contact information. Nothing about shipping though, although they had that on there. Okay, let's go back to the home page. Site map. Can we find it there? Shop wholesale. Not seeing anything here about shipping. Let's go down. It's in alphabetical order. No. Nope. Nothing about shipping. Okay. Let's try a fake one and see. Let's pick some fabric. Let's take some of this. Let's take some of this. Let's take some of this. And let's get a couple of meters. Add to cart. Proceed to checkout. Checkout. Shipping. Okay. Standard shipping is about $15, 3 to 5 business days. Okay, so it's probably Canada Post. And yeah, 15. That's not bad. It probably goes up if I increase this. No. Seems to stay the same, so it looks like it's flat rate. I didn't see anything that said that over a certain amount you got free shipping, but that's not bad if that is indeed a flat rate. The only way I could check that is to actually put in an order, and I'm not going to do that. So let's get rid of that. And let's go back to their home page. So I would say this is a very good option for shopping. And they seem to have a good selection of fabrics. Prices are reasonable. Shipping is reasonable. So yeah, you may want to check out Kindred Spirits Quilt Company in the St. Catharines, Niagara region of Ontario. So what's coming up? Well, the 10,000 Bash, which I've already mentioned to you, and it's Walter's birthday this Saturday. Yep, we'll now be the same age. Technically, I'm 6 months older than Walter, and he likes to remind me of that when my birthday comes up in July, and suddenly now I'm a year older than him. But right now, at this time of the year, we are both the same age. Yes. And I have been bugging him about what do you want to do for your birthday? Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to the keg? I don't think so. Well, where do you want to go? I don't know. Well, what do you want for your birthday? I don't know. Yeah, that's a lot of help, right? So just between me and you, between the gatepost, I did get him a gift. It's not that exciting. I would have liked to have gotten him something much more exciting. But the problem is with either one of us, he can't buy for us. If we see something we want it, we buy it. So yeah, we're difficult. And I said to him again last night, though, I mean, I got to do something. I said, so do you want to go out for your birthday? I don't know. I don't know if I want to spend that money because, he says it's sort of kind of boring. And we go, and he's not wrong about that. When we were younger, going out for dinner on a special occasion was like fun. But, I don't find that anymore. You spend a lot of money in a really nice restaurant, and you want to know something? The food isn't always that great. And they rush in and rush out wherever you go. It's all about volume sales. It's just not that. And we eat fast. We do. We eat really fast. We make the joke the time 2 hours to make it, 2 minutes to eat. I'm not kidding. We've both been like that our whole lives. So yeah. So I said to him, well, tongue in cheek, I can cook. I could make something special. Yeah, that was met with, one of Walter's roll his eyes look kind of a thing. Then he says something about maybe fish and chips. I don't care. It's his birthday. If that's what he wants, that's what we will do. That's what we'll get. I got a couple of bottles of champagne still. Well, pseudo champagne, sparkling wine, basically, in the bar fridge. So, we'll crack those open because Walter loves his champagne. He is a champagne slut. He really is. Maybe that's something you didn't know about Walter. We will do something. And I might even suggest that next Saturday we head down to the Dutch bakery and we get a couple of long johns. Long johns are basically like a cream puff or an eclair kind of thing. They make good ones at the Dutch bakery. And I'll stick a candle in it. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Some of you are going to say, well, why don't you bake him a cake? Yeah. Well, I have baked cakes in the past. It's an idea. Maybe I should look up one of my old recipes and make something like that. Um, it's not that I don't want to, it's just that he doesn't really care for my cooking. I don't think I'm that bad a cook, but apparently, I guess, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so I don't know what we're doing. As I said, I got him some little tiny thing. I hope he likes it. And well, there we go. So it's impossible to buy for. So what else is coming up? Nothing. Nothing. Looking ahead, well, I always told you about the colonoscopy thing. That was in the vlog. I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm already uptight about the whole damn thing anyways, so I'll be glad when that's over with. But anyways, I've got lots of things to do here today. I've got that quilt in behind me to get going on and get ready for sewing with Stephanie and Stephen tomorrow. I'd like to have a project. I think I might do machine embroidery. See if I can catch up on that project tomorrow. And yeah, so I hope you have a great week. I hope you're not into a deep freeze. We're kind of coming out of the deep freeze, I think. Oh, it's -4. It's balmy. Yeah, that's Celsius. So yeah, I hope your week is great, and we'll see some of you maybe tomorrow on Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, and have a good one. See you later. Bye-bye.